I don't understand this. Like, this is the Togo border, and they are telling us that we have to pay 2,000 for each passport, and you don't pay, we are not stamping your passport. And when you stamp your passport, no receipt. But according to the ECOWAS law, if you have an ECOWAS passport, it's okay for you to pass through.
They have not been subject to any form of harassment, nor must they pay for a residential permit.
You are breaking the law. You are breaking. So now we finished.
This is crazy. And I had to hold my camera, stand firm, and I said, I'm not giving you this camera today, not tomorrow.
The clips I just showed were from my friend and probably Africa's biggest travel content creator, Wode Maya's experience at the Ghana-Togo border, where he was fought by immigration officers because he refused to pay a bribe. I have heard many crazy things about people crossing that border and about how they hate the experience so much. But I personally have not experienced that particular border. Let's be honest, the problem with Africa is mainly Africans, no one else. We cannot continue to blame colonizers for the current state of our countries or our nation or continent. If we truly want change, we need to take ownership of our issues, come together as Africans, and make change. The truth is, it's not the colonizers that are asking for bribes at these borders. They're not the ones insulting and talking down to people at these borders. It's us, all of us, we Africans, doing this to one another. I know so many people that cross the Seme border going into Benin Republic, and they hate the experience. So many of them hate the experience so much that they find alternative routes into the forest, walking, riding motorcycles just to avoid this border. I remember in 2018, when my family and I decided we should take a vacation to Cotonou. I've heard great things about Cotonou itself, so I was very excited by the prospect of going to enjoy, a destination that's literally a stone throw away from Lagos. I was excited, but had no clue what was awaiting me. We were driving through to go to the Seme border, and we were delayed unnecessarily at the Lagos border. Let me pay the experience that I experienced. This was 2018, and I did a YouTube video on that, and I'll just play a little clip of that experience for you.
So we just got to the Nigeria-Benin border, and it's interesting because I thought the border was going to be like one of those American borders whereby you just go through the gate. We actually had to come out of the car and go to a particular stand. Then we showed them the passports, my yellow fever card. We had a bit of an issue with the yellow fever card because my yellow fever card was from Tanzania, and apparently the guy said I don't have meningitis, and I'll have to have meningitis for 3,000 naira.
Meningitis, no?
Yes, I had to get meningitis, vaccination for 3,000 naira there. But yes, Pop said that's not happening. And they also had a thing whereby they went to stamp something called VU, a stamp, and collect like 1,000 naira or something from us. Nah, my Pops wasn't having that either. After speaking to some people, we've basically gone through that process. We've now parked and we're waiting again to, I don't know, maybe check passports or something again.
From 3,000, only stamp for meningitis. Go 419, don't you? Even Nigeria immigration, so you can find low money for what? When are you going to stop all this nonsense? You don't stop, I saw the bank, I have to buy 3,000, how too long?
Although after that trip, I loved Cotonou. Is it the people? Is it the food? Hey, the vibe, the beaches, it was incredible. I could not believe that a country like Benin Republic was literally next door and no one was really screaming and promoting this destination at all. That experience from traveling from Lagos through those borders, having to deal with 11 checkpoints, whether it's immigration, NDLEA, police, and the experience at the border itself, honestly put me off traveling or considering to travel to Cotonou again. It truly discouraged me. If you guys have had a similar experience, please share it in the comment section below. Guys, imagine the amount of people that have experienced what I have, or what Wode Maya has, or what I'm sure millions of other Africans have, probably even experiencing it worse than this. Imagine those that cannot even afford to pay a bribe. Imagine how much money we have lost as a continent, right? Because we can't freely travel within our continent without wahala. To be honest, instead, many of us consider going to destinations like Dubai, the US, the UK, Europe in general, because they have their, arms open wide for us. Not because they love us necessarily, it's because we are helping them build their economy without spending. So they love our money. The truth of the matter is, in Africa, whether you have the right documentation, you have the right papers, you follow the rules on the internet that you've read, you will be forced to pay a bribe, even if you tick all those points, which is sad. So that's why I'm thankful for people like, my dad that was like, I'm not paying a bribe just to get across this border, or Wode Maya using this platform to speak up, or Tayo I know that is literally traveling around the continent, just sharing stories and letting people know what is going on. So let's talk quickly about Wode Maya's experience. The truth is, Wode Maya's experience is nothing new. Wode Maya and I have spoken in the past about the challenges of traveling within Africa and how we need to actually really push the agenda of a borderless Africa. And it's insane that, he has been creating content to that effect for so many years, and still, like, our leaders are not picking up on this to actually make change. Because I feel like if this was another continent, and the voice that, the amount of, I guess, like, just man hours that he and so many other people put in to push this agenda, and like nothing is being done, it's like our leaders are sleeping, or it doesn't favor them to make that change. In Wode Maya's video, he shares that he was on his way to the Voodoo Festival in Wode, and that he was actually very okay with paying that fee, that amount that they wanted him to pay, the 2,000 sefa, but all he wanted was a receipt, which they did not want to provide to him. It was only when the officials noticed that Wode Maya was actually documenting his experience on camera that they flipped out and was trying to get his camera from him and fight him for his camera. Which I guess highlights the point that they know what they were doing was wrong. They understood to some degree that it was illegal what they were probably been doing for decades and been getting away with. We as Africans are aware of what is good and what is bad. We're aware of our wrongdoings, but being aware of it, it's just not good enough. What I believe we're not aware of, though, or we're not cognizant of, is the generational damage that inaction of this behavior is going to do for generations to come. The media always, portrays the bad in Africa, the negative stories of Africa. But have you guys noticed how many non-Africans are migrating to Africa? Have you noticed how many non-Africans are building businesses in Africa? How they're investing heavily in Africa? How they're loaning money to Africa? Giving loans, yes, to Africa. Setting up schools in Africa. If Africa was that bad, why would they do it? Why are all these big corporations jumping into Africa? If Africa was that bad, they wouldn't do it. Think about it. Africans, we need to wake up and realize the goal that we're sitting on. The media really is invested in portraying Africa as bad, but that's one of the reasons why I love Wode Maya's channel, and I love his push to share the good of Africa, even though he does share the challenges, right? And another thing why I feel whenever we share challenges or negative things about what's going on in our continent, we as people shouldn't be, quick to say, you're just sharing the bad, you're making us look bad. No, we're trying to help drive change, right? Because if we all keep silent, what is going to change? But it's better that we as Africans tell our own stories, right? As Wode Maya tells his own, he tells the good, the great, the bad, he tells it all. I also wanted to share the amazing work by my big aunt in, I guess, creating borderless Africa in essence. Mrs. Ineka Isaac Moses has a project called Destination West Africa Project. She's the founder and producer of Go Gay Africa, which is the tour company and a culture promoter of Africa. Destination Africa was actually spurred, and it ties really into what Wode Maya is trying to push. It was spurred by the gap in local tourism movement, none of us traveling locally, interconnectivity, trade and investment within West African sub-region and the African continent in total. Essentially, its aim is to promote inter-Africa movement and trade. I remember I was debriefing with Mrs. Ineka because I think in November 2022, she actually took a trip, like a bus trip, and wanted to experience firsthand the challenges of traveling, through the Seme border, Benin, going to Ghana, going to Ivory Coast. And one of the things she said, 2022, before she could reach the border leaving Nigeria, they had to go through 52 checkpoints. 52. She said this included the Nigerian police, immigration, anti-bomb police, Nigerian Army, DSS, customs, NDLEA, port health, road safety. And these are the huge challenges in promoting Africa, inter-Africa trade, inter-Africa tourism, in promoting us to reunite as a continent. Look at Europe. I guess the main point of my video today is that I hope that as Africans, we continue to speak up against these things that are preventing our growth as a continent. I think it's important to speak up from a place of wanting change or wanting to drive change and also doing something about it if you can. I remember when I used to share challenges on my channel of bribery and corruption, and there was a number of people that would always come and say, look at you, you can only say bad things about Africa, you can only say bad things about Africa, or bad things about, Nigerian corruption. The reason I'm talking about these bad things is because I want change. It can't remain the same. I see the messages like from African Americans when it comes to Nigeria, the challenges they have, even though they're still coming, but what they hear, what they see, that needs to be changed. Even at the airport, what they go through, even though I would say it's changed, the progress being made there, but there's still so many challenges. So the next time you see somebody posting about something negative about bribery and corruption, rather than, break the person down to say, why are you talking badly about Africa? Why don't you focus on what you can do to drive change? Speaking up and sharing our experiences is us screaming that we are tired of Africa as it currently is and demanding for a better Africa for our children's children. Thank you for watching my video. I would love to hear your thoughts on what we Africans can actually action, how we can do better, not just our government, because our government is just a bunch of people. What we as everyday people, what can we do as ordinary citizens to contribute to a better Africa? Thank you guys so much for watching. If you're new, I'm Sassy Funke, amazing content creator, Nigerian born, but I'm African. So subscribe to this channel for more amazing content. Give this video a huge thumbs up. And if you made it to the end of this video, leave a comment and just say, Africa is one. Africa is one. Thank you so much for watching my channel, guys, and I will see you guys on my next video. Bye.